Part 26. I became the richest man in the world by making meatballs. Author, Lanshan Luzi. Chapter 251. Hey, I have another recent update about Baichanjun. Do you want to know? If there is any updated news, please tell me quickly. The noble lady lowered her voice and said, Hey, I heard that the acting Duke of the Bai family had been in contact with the Shen family before, intending to help the weakling find a bride in the Shen family, but who is that in the Shen family? Those are the 4 members of the Shen family. The natal family of His Highness the Prince and his concubine, the son of an acting duke, wanted to marry a legitimate daughter of the Shen family, so they chose Shen Xiang. The noble ladies exclaimed, there is such a thing. I saw that Shen Xiang was trying to please the young master of the Sheng family. Is this news true? Of course it's true. My father has good relations with the Shen family. He heard it with his own ears. How can it be false? Tisk, pity Shen Xiang, she doesn't know about this yet. Shen Xiang was taken into the Shen family's house after her parents died. She grew up under the Shen family's mistress. She is not low in status. It is said that she has quite a status in the Shen family. Unexpectedly, she is still a dog that can be abandoned casually. Ah, there is no future for marrying that weakling Baichanjun. I'm afraid he will be sent out by the Shen family as a chess piece that can be discarded at any time. Hey, don't be too sympathetic to that woman Shen Xiang. She is not a good person herself. She is unjust and unjust. She will bite anyone the Shen family asks her to bite. She didn't send it to her in exchange for glory, wealth, and status. Which is a good match for Baichanjun's weakling. If the acting duke can really control the sole heir of the duke's family and firmly grasp the power of the Bai family, Baichanjun, the only son, is not too bad. Maybe Shen Xiang can still. I've made a profit. Buletin Wen snorted coldly, I think Bai Zhuangquan will definitely fail. I heard that Miss Bai has escaped from the Duke's mansion. When she returns, it may be time for the acting Duke to step down. Hey, there is another matter. Is your news accurate? Although it is a rumor, I think it is true. Miss Bai is the only Duchess qualified to inherit the title. Anyway, I am optimistic about her. If she comes back in the future, I will definitely help her. Ah, why? You don't know me. Because she can inherit the title of Duke. We noble daughters are used for marriage. Even if my father loves us, he has never treated us as heirs. If she becomes a duke, will it mean that she is a female heir? Excellent, so that we might have a chance to compete with our brothers and sisters to be the heirs. Puyi was greatly shocked. Wen, what you said is great, I will help her in the future. The other ladies were equally excited, then we will help too. Bai Qianchun walked out from behind a tree and glanced at the ladies gathered not far away who were eating and talking. She raised her eyebrows slightly. It seemed that they weren't that annoying after all. Then she looked at Baichanjun, who was being sent back to his position by several people, and there was a mocking arc at the corner of her mouth. Sure enough, it was him. Baichanjun's face was gloomy and ugly, and he slapped away a hand that was reaching out to touch the other person's heart, and angrily yelled, Get out of here. Brother, what's wrong? Bai Ruling came over from a short distance away. Seeing Baichanjun's face, she asked curiously. Before Baichanjun could speak, the 2 friends around him who admired Bai Ruling started talking about what had just happened. Bai Ruling immediately showed an expression of worry, concern, and regret, and looked at Baichanjun with tearful eyes. Brother, it's all my fault. My health is not as good as it could be. I fell ill last night. Otherwise, if I had come earlier to ask for medicine for my brother would have died. No more humiliation. Bai Ruling cheered in her heart. Damn, what the girl named Buletin Wen said was so good. She should humiliate him more and let him know that although Baichanjun was a treasure in the Bai family, after leaving the Bai family, he was a person with impure blood. A disgusting thing that takes over the magpie's nest. But Bai Chenjun didn't know what she was thinking. When he saw Bai Ruling's tearful concern, he couldn't express the anger in his heart to her. He could only say irritably, "Okay, don't cry. You're here now, it won't be too late, you go over there, I will buy a bottle of beauty pills, whitening pills, and big healing elixir no matter what method you use." The smile on Bai Ruling's face froze. "Why didn't you grab this piece of shit? The noble girls around Bulletin Wen can only share one pill each. How can she, an illegitimate daughter of the Bai family, have the nerve to buy a bottle of everything?" Bai Chenjun was afraid that there was something seriously wrong with his brain, and he wanted to humiliate her too. But Bai Ruling was not stupid, and she immediately squeezed out a few tears. "Brother, I'm just an illegitimate daughter, and I don't know Bulletin Wen. I don't have the ability. Since my brother bought it for the third princess, why not let Her Highness the third princess ask Bulletin Wen for it? If Her Highness the third princess asks for it, Bulletin Wen will definitely be willing." Bai Chenjun was silent and ugly. He had firmly promised the third princess that he would be able to buy it, and now he wanted the third princess to buy it by herself. So where should he put his face? It was about his face as a grown man. He didn't want to give up and wanted Bai Ruling to try again, but Bai Ruling saw the opportunity and immediately burst into tears, which angered her two flower protectors. Feeling distressed, he immediately echoed her words and persuaded, "Yes, Mr. Bai, Sister Ruling is right. It's better to let Her Highness the third princess buy it by herself, or let Her Highness the third princess say it. It's the same thing for you, Mr. Bai, to pay." That stepwen's mouth is so venomous and her humiliation is so unpleasant. A kind and sensitive person like Ling Mei will definitely not be able to bear it. "Okay, okay, okay," Bai Chenjun's head was buzzing with words of persuasion. "Okay, okay, if she doesn't want to go, don't go. I'll think about it again." Bai Ruling lowered her head and raised the corners of her mouth hidden in the shadows. Bai Qianchun also heard clearly about the confrontation between the brothers and sisters. That idiot Bai Chenjun couldn't beat Bai Ruling. But if Bai Chenjun wants to buy pills for Qin Yushin, then he should give him a chance. Bai Qianchun stroked the mask on her face, raised the corners of her mouth, and walked quickly to the wooden cane shelf on Nongui's side. She glanced at Nongui, who immediately understood. He took out a speaker and spoke. He shouted with a joyful face, "Attention, star citizens of Mu Yuen Star. Attention, star citizens of Mu Yuen Star, the main star is giving you benefits. Each star citizen will receive a bottle of beauty pills, whitening pills, and a large healing pill. Everyone, come here and line up to get it." People from all directions who noticed Bai Qianchun's figure were a little surprised and their eyes widened immediately. Damn it, being a star citizen of Muyuan planet is such a good thing. Is it too late for me to immigrate here? Aren't Xingmen just those old men and women? Why do they want to use beauty products and whitening pills? Isn't this a waste of things? How nice to give it to me. I became the richest man in the world by making meatballs. Author, Lan Shan Lu Zy. Chapter 252. Hey, what are you talking about, little girl? Why can't we old ladies use beauty elixirs and whitening pills? No one is a woman. Women love beauty and beauty, regardless of age. An old lady who looked kind and gentle walked over with her hands on her hips, but with an unusually strong aura, and directly attacked a noble lady who was making sarcastic remarks in the crowd, frightening her on the spot. The noble lady had a sarcastic look on her face. She didn't expect that she would be caught by an old lady just now while she was jealous and making a complaint. This was really embarrassing. She and the few ladies beside her who originally wanted to agree smiled awkwardly, avoiding those sharp eyes, and apologized dryly. The old lady snorted and then managed to calm down her momentum. She raised her chin slightly and said, "It's just because you get older that you need more maintenance. You little girls will know this when you are my age. After the words fell, the old lady smiled and put her hands on her hips up to her temples. She straightened her hair and combed her hair in an orderly manner. She no longer cared about her hairstyle and walked in the direction of Bai Jianchun. Look at that dignified and charming figure from behind. If the clothes weren't inappropriate, she would really look like some pampered older aristocratic female elders on the main planet. The ladies thought about the appearance of this old lady again, and if they restrained themselves despite her strong expression and those unsightly wrinkles, you can still see her delicate and gentle facial features. She must have been a great beauty when she was young. The old lady, Ye Yunping, was also in a very good mood at this time. What she said just now is not a lie. She really loves beauty and beauty. When she was young, she was also a famous beauty on Jupiter. Unfortunately, time makes people grow old, and coupled with the closure of Jupiter a few years ago, the disappearance of the wood element cannot provide enough energy for her to practice, otherwise she would have to work hard to practice her powers even for the sake of beauty. Only when her powers reach the SSS level can she be rejuvenated and regain her youthful beauty. And there is another reason, that is her wife. Her wife is the same age as her, but her powers are one level higher than hers. She looks 20 years younger than her. There is a big gap between her and her. Those who didn't know thought they were siblings. Ye Yunping, who loves her old man deeply, has a strong sense of crisis in her heart. She is afraid that a shameless and pretty old lady will pop up somewhere and abduct her old man, so she must become younger to match her old man. Okay. Therefore, after hearing about the effects of these whitening pills and beauty elixirs yesterday, she felt very itchy in her heart. But when she saw the price, she knew that they were something she couldn't afford, so she could only hold her thoughts back for the time being, so that she could save enough for the future. Money to buy again. But what she didn't expect was that last night Yechin came to inform them that the Star Master was giving them benefits, and each star citizen was given a bottle of whitening pills, beauty pills, and a big healing pill, which made her extremely happy. It turned out that her favorability towards the Star Lord was only 5 stars due to the changes in Jupiter's star these days, but now it has increased to 10 stars. Anyone who can make her beautiful is a good person. As for Yechin's special reminder to them to raise the price to rip off customers, she also remembered it. There were 10 pills in a bottle. When the time came, she would use one first and then sell the rest. Anyway, the Star Lord is here, and Mu Yuan seems to be prospering now. It doesn't matter if he lacks the money for a beauty elixir or a whitening pill. He won't be afraid that he won't be able to earn it in the future. Moreover, her family does not have much burden. Her husband, Lin Bai, is working outside leading the Star Citizens, and her son has graduated for a year and is in the army. Their family of 3 does not have much expenses. After analyzing all aspects, Ye Yunping made up her mind to take 1 pill of each by herself after receiving the beauty pills and whitening pills. She didn't have much work at the moment, so she came over after talking to a few little girls and caught up with the first one. Bai Jianchun stood in front of the wooden cane shelf and handed the 3 porcelain bottles to her with a smile. "Grandma Yunping, these 3 porcelain bottles are yours." Ye Yunping took the porcelain vase as if it were a treasure, with a smile on her face. "Thank you, Star Master." Then she stood there and hesitated for a moment, then gritted her teeth and continued, "Star Lord, just now Nongui said that every star citizen of Muyuan planet can receive a bottle of beauty pill, whitening pill, and great healing pill, right? Then my wife can I take care of my son and my son on their behalf? One of them went out to work with the star citizens and has not come back, and the other has joined the Legion and is not on Muyuan." Bai Jianchun laughed and said, "Of course. As long as they have the Muyuan Star Citizens household registration, they can receive one. You can also collect it for them if you are on the same household registration book." As she spoke, she took out 6 more porcelain bottles from the wooden box and handed them over. Ya Yunping was so happy that she didn't even care about her image at the moment, her teeth were showing in her smile. How many star coins are these? Even if they are sold at the original price, they can earn hundreds of thousands. She has never seen anything so valuable since that bitch Wang Ziyi came to power. Thanks to the little girl in front of me, no, thanks to the Star Lord. Ya Yunping was convinced that the Star Master could make her beautiful and make money. Ya Yunping would be the first to let anyone dare to bully the Star Master in the future. Ye Xiangyun, who was second in line, also had a surprise smile on her petty face. Her eyes were greedy and her voice, which was originally as thin as a mosquito or fly, now became louder and harsher. She was so excited. Shivering, really, can I really receive so many pills? Then my family has a total of 11 people, so I can receive 33 bottles. Star Master is so generous. Ya Yang will also follow you and serve you from now on. He is lucky. If he makes you unhappy in the future, just teach him a lesson. Bai Chun's smile faded, her brows furrowed, her dark eyes looked at Ye Xiangyun faintly, her tone darkened. Ya Yang is very good, I regard him as a younger brother, I don't know what Aunt Yongxiang means by this. Ye Xiangyun trembled at her cold eyes, timidly put the smile back on her face, looked at her fearfully, and said with hesitation in her voice, I. Tisk Ye Yunping, who had just encouraged her to support the Star Lord, couldn't stand it anymore. She looked at Ye Xiangyun with disgust and scolded, yeah, what do you mean by that? You said that the Star Lord treats your son like a toy. It seems like you are still serving me. Is there a mother like you who sells her son for glory? Ye Xiangyun shrank her neck and said with evasive eyes and trembling, I didn't. Aunt Yunping, don't misunderstand me and target me like this. Humph. Ye Yunping laughed angrily at this thing. We all live in the same neighborhood, and she still watched Ye Xiangyun grow up, so she still didn't know what she was thinking. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I became the richest man in the world by making meatballs. Author, Lanshan Luziyi. Chapter 253. Although this woman looks timid, she has a lot on her mind. It was not her daughter-in-law that Ye Qin and his wife were interested in at the beginning. It was her who took the initiative to seduce Ye Yang's father. Unable to defeat his son, he gave up on the girl he had previously favored and let her in. She also acted like a monster after entering the house. She gave birth to those children but did not raise them. She relied on the children to support themselves and their grandfathers to help them to live healthily until now. These star citizens on Wuyuan planet, anyone who sees her will be pleased with her. Since this woman dares to confront her now, don't blame her for letting out the anger she has been holding in for who knows how many years. Ye Yunping sneered, put her hands on her hips and said, I'm targeting you, but I'm not targeting you at all. What I'm saying is the truth. I've seen clearly the dirty things you've done, so don't even think about denying it. You are also looking for trouble with me in a weird way. Humph, I think you should not receive the pills on behalf of the whole family today. Let other people in your family come. Even the 8-year-old girl Ye 11 is more reliable than you. I'm afraid you'll sell these pills, take the money, abscond, and move to chase your mother who abandoned her husband and son. Oh, as soon as these words came out, everyone looked at Ye Xiangyun differently. This woman is a person with a story. Even an 8-year-old child is more reliable than her, so how unreliable is she? The ladies who had been taught a lesson by Ye Yunping just now also had expressions on their faces, and their moods instantly improved. It turns out that what the old lady said to them just now was a good temper to save their face. Now this is her real fighting power. Look, the spittle was flying everywhere, making the auntie's waist so hard that she couldn't straighten up. Ye Yunping stopped, and just when everyone thought it was about to end, she continued to curse, and last time, as a star citizen of Muyuan Star, you turned your elbows outward, and when people asked you, just tell them the position of the Star Master has been changed. What if someone is a killer and is disadvantageous to the Star Master? Since you don't regard the Star Master as the Star Master, but you are just groveling to that third princess, you still have the nerve to receive the benefits from the Star Master. I think you are just an ignorant white-eyed wolf. You should quit Muyuan Star as soon as possible. After scolding her happily in one breath, Ye Yunping felt relieved. The melon eaters who were watching also exclaimed that it was wonderful. Some people who came late still didn't know what happened to the third princess, so they quickly asked those who knew. Those people didn't hide it. They had complaints when they followed the third princess to hike the mountain, so they immediately shared this melon with their new friends. The third princess took people to find the master of Muyuan Star to ask for an explanation, but they were stunned. It took a long time to climb the mountain. Later, the speed car she was riding in slowly and stupidly crawled under the fallen tree. Who knew that the car window was shattered and her entire face was disfigured by the glass? Blah blah blah. The new friends heard it with gusto and shouted how wonderful it was. Unexpectedly, they came 2 days late and missed such a wonderful thing. A group of people felt it was a pity. Bai Qianchun raised her eyebrows. She didn't expect that when the third princess came to the back mountain valley to find her, there would be a scene involving Ye Xiangyun. She pursed her lips slightly. Staying alone on Muyuan Star like this was indeed a time bomb. And seeing that she was scolded like this, her face was completely lost, and she could still stand here with her head lowered and endured the shame and anger. It can be seen that Ye Xiangyun is indeed a ruthless person who can endure for her own goals. She felt sorry for Ye Yang, who had such a mother in her life. Just when Bai Qianchun was thinking about how to deal with this matter, Ye Qin, who was in the crowd with a gloomy face, walked over. He did not expect that this daughter-in-law was becoming more and more outrageous, and even revealed the whereabouts of the Star Master. He immediately, she couldn't help but pointed at Ye Yongxiang and got angry. You have actually done such a thing. I think you are having a good life and I feel better. Your Aunt Yunping is right. You are so disrespectful to the Star Master. You really shouldn't receive what the Star Lord gives you. Let me make the decision, so you don't have to receive your share. Ye Xiangyun trembled all over, and finally raised her drooped head. Her pretty eyes were now wide open with disbelief and resentment. Father-in-law, how could you do this? You are too partial. I was just replying it's just a word to the distinguished guest. She is not a killer, she is Her Highness the Third Princess. Why do you say I am wrong and punish me for my crime? I don't accept it. Ye Qin's serious and rigid face glared over. If you don't accept it, you have to accept it. If you dare to force me, I will treat you as my daughter-in-law. Ye Ming, that idiot Ye Ming, ask her to come over and divorce this woman. Divorce. Ye Xiangyun immediately panicked, and the courage she had summoned up because of her anger gave way. She shouted with panic in her eyes, No, no, father-in-law, I don't want a divorce. I don't dare to do it anymore. Don't let Ye Ming divorces me, but I won't. Ye Ming is the only person she can hold on to now. Her son and daughter are all unreliable, and none of them know how to help her, her own mother. Looking at the three brothers and sisters Ye Yang, Ye Qi, and Ye 11 who were standing in the crowd with serious faces and no intention of helping, Ye Xiangyun felt resentful in her heart. They were all meat from her belly and she had worked so hard to give birth to them. Why didn't she come to help? Help her, all of them are heartless white-eyed wolves. At this time, Ye Ming hurried over. He quickly pulled Ye Xiangyun and knelt down to beg for mercy. Dad, please forgive Xiangyun this time. She doesn't dare to do it anymore. She will never dare to do it again in the future. Ye Xiangyun also seemed to have grasped the heart of the Star Master. Her eyes lit up, and she grabbed Ye Qin's trousers and cried louder, Yes, father-in-law, I will live a good life with Ye Ming, and I will never dare to do anything to disgrace the Star Master again. It's over. Bai Jianchun glanced at Ye Yang, who had lost his smile in the crowd, and then looked at Ye Qin, who had a frown on his old face and seemed a little soft-hearted, and sighed in his heart, "It's not yet ready." Although she also wanted to drive Ye Xiangyun out simply, it would be best to deal with Ye Yang's biological mother in this life while their relationship was not so deep, but now Ye Xiangyun made a mistake that was not too big or too small, and asked her to divorce her. It was too much for her to go out. So she simply stood up and acted as a peacemaker. "Grandpa Qin, since Aunt Xiangyun already knows that she was wrong, let's forget about it. After all, she is also the mother of 7 children. She has hard work without any credit. This matter, it's not enough to sentence her to divorce. As for not giving her pills, it's unreasonable. I said that every star citizen of Mu Yuen planet has one. Even if she makes a mistake, she is still a star citizen of Mu Yuen planet. This medicine, the meatballs, still have to be divided." Ye Qin's expression softened when he heard the first half of the sentence, but he couldn't help but frown when he heard the second half. But seeing the persistence in Bai Qianchun's eyes, he could only swallow back his rebuttal and turn around. Looking at Ye Xiangyun with a face, she said majestically, "Since the Star Master said so, let's forget about this matter this time. If you dare to do it again in the future, our old Ye family will not be able to keep you as a daughter-in-law. As for the medicine, you don't have to deal with the meatballs. You and Ye Ming's share is all given to Yang Ziazi. It is up to the children to decide whether to use it or sell it. It should be treated as the 2 parents who have not taken care of their children in recent years. Let us compensate you. I became the richest man in the world by making meatballs." Author, Lanshan Luzi. Chapter 254. Ye Yang led his younger brothers and sisters over and glanced at Ye Xiangyun, who was still slumped on the ground looking at him with complicated eyes. He sighed in his heart. This mother seemed to hate him. As for his father, hey, he was still standing around his wife with a simple and honest look on his face, talking anxiously about something. He must have lost his mind in love. "Ye Yang, hurry up and get it, don't block the star people behind." Bai Jianchun saw the way Ye Yang looked at Ye Xiangyun, even the smile on her face disappeared, and her eyes darkened. He warned aloud. "Oh, here we come." Ye Yang quickly came back to his senses and subconsciously smiled at Bai Jianchun, showing 2 small tiger teeth and regaining his usual youthful vitality. The younger brother and younger sister beside him grinned and urged happily, Brother 6, hurry up, hurry up." These 2 children ignored their biological mother faster than Ye Yang, which shows that Ye Xiangyun is actually quite a failure as a mother. Ye Yang seemed to have been pushed hard by his younger brother, and he laughed out loud, don't rush, isn't it over now?" Seeing that the 3 children were not gloomy at all, the stars around them smiled happily, and Ye Yunping also breathed a sigh of relief, fearing that Ye Xiangyun would really get divorced. She didn't have any sympathy for Ye Xiangyun being divorced. It was all her fault, but she felt pity for her 7 children. All 7 children were good children. If their own mother had been kissed by them because of her making such a fuss, her father was divorced, and she felt somewhat guilty for being the indirect trigger. Now that the matter is over, Ye Yunping changed her voice and said, "By the way, Lao Qin, what's going on with my Lin Bai? Didn't I receive your message a long time ago and want to come back with the working star citizens? How can I still do this, didn't come back? Did something happen to me? That's why my wife never reported good news to me but not bad news. I contacted him a few days ago and asked him when he would be back. He hesitated and said that since Mu Yuen planet has already, if nothing goes wrong, they will stay there and continue to make money, but I have told him in the past few days that we have also paid wages on Mu Yuen planet, and he is still reluctant to come back. He didn't answer my call last night. Is this old guy being raped outside? Which pretty old lady seduced her away and doesn't want to come back? The past 2 days were very busy, and Yechin was too busy to find anyone. When she saw that Yechin was finally caught this time, she couldn't help but ask. Bai Qian-chun, who was distributing pills to the star citizens in line at the other end, also pricked up his ears and paid more attention to this side. Yes, she had mentioned to Yechin before to bring back the star citizens. As a result, there were more and more tourists, but none of the star citizens who went out to work came back. This was a bit wrong. The corner of Yechin's mouth twitched twice, and he looked at the old lady in front of him with a speechless expression. Don't you know that old Lin is a real person and is devoted to you? Don't think about these random speculations. Ya Yunping was comforted in this way, and the suspicion on her face dissipated a little. Then do you know what's going on? The time for coming back has been delayed again and again, so we can't wait too anxiously. Other Xingmen who had friends and family working outside with Lin Bai also agreed. Yes, yes, my family is the same, they just refuse to say why they don't come back, but don't really get into trouble. Sorry, I'm so worried. The star citizens chatted among themselves, and the good mood that was originally about getting pills and making a lot of money was now covered with a layer of worry. Yechin moved the corner of his lips. He really didn't know what was going on. He was busy enough with things on Wuyuan planet these days. As for the star citizens working outside, he was just waiting for the crisis on Wuyuan planet to be resolved. Later, I sent a letter telling them not to be in such a hurry to come back, and there was no need to borrow the thugs, and there was no further contact. Seeing his silent expression, everyone's heart skipped a beat. Could something really have happened? Yechin hurriedly explained that he didn't know and that something had happened over there. He explained it several times and promised to contact the people over there soon. Only then did he calm down the star citizens and put on the medicine they received one by one. Mariko's joyful mood. After dividing the pills, Bai Qian-chun didn't stay there any longer and went to Mi Zhu's courtyard to make the pills. The business of pills is still booming, so I will try to sell another batch in the evening. At one of the dining tables in the square, Yao Wengxian poked the man next to him with his arm, pointed at Ye Yang in the crowd, and winked at him. I think the ancient doctor cares about that kid very much. I was afraid that he would be sad just now. I made a point of speaking out. They have only known each other for less than half a month. Even if they are recognized as god brothers, according to the temperament of ancient doctors, they shouldn't care so much about him. Do you think they are? Fen Yuya glanced over and snorted irritably. It's just a younger brother. It doesn't matter anything else. Don't think about it with your dirty thoughts. Yao Wengxian raised his eyebrows in dissatisfaction. What dirty thoughts do I have? I haven't even said anything yet. How do you know that they are dirty? I said yes, I'll hurry to light the fire, and you guys eat slowly. Fen Yuya finished the buns in his hands in 2 mouthfuls, then pursed his lips and stood up with a cold look on his evil face, chasing after him as he walked. He also used his eyes to scare away anyone who wanted to strike up a conversation. Yao Wengxian looked at his back and clicked his tongue twice, smiled and shook his head and said, the eldest young master is still rushing to light the fire. No, 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 this is already domesticated, he hasn't noticed it yet, he. Lao Lu and Lao Qi looked at him, chewing the buns silently, with confused expressions on their faces, but the steamed buns with vegetable stuffing were so delicious. The gossips at the 2 tables next to me, who were eavesdropping with their ears pricked up, understood clearly. Young Lord Feng was in trouble. He didn't mind that his god brother was jealous, but he rushed to help light the fire. This is not a setback. Those who want to pry around the corner probably won't be able to do so for a while. However, after the 2 grand sales of pills by Wuyuan Star Master, it is still unclear who those people want to poach from the couple in the future. Judging from the current situation, the popularity of Wuyuan Star Master must be rising sharply. In the future, even for this pill, there will probably be an endless stream of admirers. But speaking of the pills, As expected, Bai Qianchun and the others' previous plan was successful. After what happened just now, the tourists were also eyeing the pills in the hands of the star citizens, especially Ye Yang, who had clutched a total of 11 portions and 33 bottles of pills. Whether they were whitening pills or beauty pills or great healing pills, they wanted them all. So as soon as Bai Qianchun left, many people quickly gathered around Ye Yang. The star citizens who have one person taking care of most of their families are no exception and have become the most popular among tourists. I became the richest man in the world by making meatballs. Author, Lanshan Luzi. Chapter 255. The star citizens remembered Ye Qin's instructions yesterday and refused to resell at a low price, so the scene became lively. Tourist 1, sell me your pills. I'll pay twice the price. Star Citizen 1, no, this is a benefit given to us by the Star Lord and cannot be sold. Tourist 2, I'll pay 2.5 times, sell it to me. Starman 2, this is for my daughter. I want to buy it at this price, but there is no way. Tourist 3, TCH, you are too stingy about XXX in front of me. You still want to steal it from me. I'll pay 3 times the price. Do you want to sell it? The star citizens were faintly excited, and their hearts flew with excitement. The price of each beauty pill and whitening pill was 30,000 star coins. If it was resold 3 times, it would be 90,000 star coins. It was equivalent to a bottle of beauty pill. They would sell it for 900,000 star coins. Once they get it, plus the whitening pills and the more expensive treatment pills sold at a unit price, their account can achieve a qualitative leap to 9 figures with just one swipe. The star citizens were shocked. But what if the price can be even higher? According to yesterday's intelligence, a few ladies said they bought it at 10 times the price, but now it's only 3 times. So, Xingmin, who was timid but honest, swallowed and hesitated in his heart. Those who dared to take advantage of the opportunity to make a fortune, such as Ye Yang, shook his head decisively and made an excuse: if I don't sell it, I have to leave the beauty pills and whitening pills to my elder sister and my younger sister. They are the girls in the family, so they also want it. Use these. The shrewd tourist was not happy. Boy, are you trying to make money by taking advantage of this opportunity, so you are holding on to it and won't let go? You really think of us as being taken advantage of, don't you? Ye Yang snorted, you guys have figured it out. It's a seller's market now. Even if you have money, you can't buy these 3 kinds of pills. Are you sure that you can get them before Muyuan Star is closed in the next few days? As for selling on the official website of Xinguang in the future, there will be more wolves and less meat. You have also seen that these pills are all made by hand and cannot be produced in large quantities. Among the hundreds of millions of star citizens in the Huayao Empire, are you sure you can be the lucky one? Therefore, the prices of these pills will only increase higher and higher in the future. The surrounding star citizens also echoed, oh, what Mr. Yang said is so right. Ye Yang looked at the group of people's faces turning green and white, and felt happy. He turned around and said, since you are not sincere, I was kind enough to give you a few pills, but now it seems that I have to forget it. I won't sell it. I won't sell it. I have to go to work, please give way. Then he squeezed out of the crowd like a loach, without giving the tourists a chance to react, and left without looking back. The other star citizens looked at each other and made excuses like shooing away flies. I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. Boy Yang is right. We are not people rushing to sell, one by one we keep the things that people look at under the door for our own use. My daughter can use it just right. She needs 2 more whitening pills because she tanned outside. Yes, 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 do you think my boy should also take some whitening pills? He's also sunburned, just like a black dog. He can't find a wife until he's white. I'll give you all these 10 whitening pills, let him eat. The star citizens talked and laughed with each other, then ran away in the blink of an eye, leaving a group of tourists looking at each other. The ladies who came up a step too late were even more dumbfounded. Are you really not going to sell it? In fact, the purpose of the Muyuan Star Lord's plan to distribute benefits to the Muyuan Star citizens in public is anyone with a brain can understand why she did this, and it was clear that she was helping the Star people to slaughter them. Although they have money, they don't want to be a fat sheep to be plotted against. But now that the Star citizens left so neatly, they couldn't help but doubt. Could it be that the Muyuan Star Master really didn't mean to slaughter the fat sheep? Did they think wrong? For a time, everyone regretted more than they suspected. Several ladies who were in urgent need of whitening pills and beauty elixirs hurriedly chased after them. 4 pills and beauty elixirs, give me a few pills and I'll pay 5 times as much. I'll pay 8 times. Auntie, sell it to me. Yan Yan, don't fight with me. Go find the ant next door. No, why don't you go find the ant next door? Several noble ladies who were good friends holding hands before, have now turned into plastic sisters who have become beautiful and have their hair cut off. They have turned against each other and even increased the price while quarreling with each other. They have raised the price 10 times. The ant who was pestered by them was very happy on the spot, but still refused to sell it. She had just said that she would leave it to her daughter, and now she said she would sell it before the 10 minutes were up. That would be a slap in the face. She knew this clearly, so she refused to agree to it. Appearance. The other Star citizens also seemed to have made an agreement. Even if the price increased tenfold, they would not sell it today, at least until tomorrow. So a group of noble ladies and other wealthy tourists who chased after him had no choice but to disperse. There were only 2 or 3 kittens left in the square. This morning was the worst sales of Muyuangxing cauldron rice since it started selling. Everyone's attention was focused on those pills, but Leng Jun, as the chef, not lost at all. The hand wrapping the buns is still very fast. There are still a group of soldiers waiting to receive them in the back mountain valley. There are so many steamed buns that he can't finish. According to the amount of food last night, the buns he has made now are not enough. In a treehouse far away from the village, 2 struggling and painful growls came out. It's itchy, it's killing me. Don't tie me up. Let me scratch it. Please help me scratch it. Stop scratching. If you don't look at what you've become now, you've almost turned yourself into a bloody gourd by scratching yourself. Mizusawa glared at the 2 people tied to the bed with an ugly face. These 2 people look really miserable now, so miserable. The exposed parts of the face and neck were covered with blood scabs or fresh bloody scratches. The 2 ordinary faces of ordinary people were no longer visible. The redness and swelling plus the blood stains from scratching made them completely disfigured. Look at the gaps between the nails of their hands, they are full of blood foam, they must have scratched them themselves. As for their bodies, Mizusawa had someone cover him with a thin blanket to avoid obstructing the view. Now the blood stains have seeped onto the thin blanket, which shows that the situation on their bodies is also very bad. Mizusawa's face was gloomy. What on earth is going on? What did they encounter? Or did they eat some poison? The men shook their heads and said, it's probably not food. The stalls in Wuyuangxing's village had been closed after the 2 of them came back yesterday, so they didn't eat anything and only drank 2 bottles of nutrient solution. It's still possible that something happened. Bigger. Shwizawayu narrowed his eyes, and after a moment of thought, he said, the difference between them and us is that they went to the Star Lord's mansion yesterday. Could it be that they met at the Star Lord's mansion? Lao Ten, go check out those spies from other forces. Do you also have this kind of disease? Yes, my subordinate will go right away. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I became the richest man in the world by making meatballs. Author, Lanshan Luzi Y. Chapter 256. Soon his subordinate Lao Qin sent back the information he had investigated. Sure enough, there were other people who had the same symptoms as the two of them, itching all over their bodies and almost scratching themselves to death. According to his in-depth investigation, he found that all of them had entered Muyuan yesterday. People from the Star-Lord's mansion. It can be seen that the Scrappy was indeed contracted from the Star-Lord's mansion. But the Muyuan Star-Lord himself is still fine, and the several Muyuan Star citizens who were in the Star-Lord's mansion yesterday are also intact today and are alive and kicking. Combined with the strange pills that the Muyuan Star-Lord has tinkered with, what else doesn't Shwizawayu understand? They must have tricked that little girl Muyuan seeing. As expected, she is a woman who can seduce that bitch of the Feng family. She is quick and cunning, and is not an economical person. She must have known for a long time that someone had sneaked into her Star-Lord's mansion, and she was playing a trick on them by not exposing him yesterday. A pair of dark gray eyes under Mizusawayu's feminine brows were flickering, his face was turning blue and white. It was a pity that such a scheming woman who was his perfect stepwife candidate actually flew away, and he was angry that the woman dared to play tricks on him. Play. Lao Qin glanced at his master who had an unclear expression, then quickly calmed down his expression and lowered his head, reminding him in a cold voice, "Master, they can't hold on much longer, we have to protect them." Shwizawayu came back to his senses, glanced at the two people on the bed with disgust on his face, pinched his nose and said, "Bow, after all, it is the person sent to me by the old man. If the person dies, the old man will not be able to explain it. Now the eldest brother is waiting to grab my pigtails and give me eye drops over the old man's side. I can't let him get the hang of it. Go ahead and invite the pharmacists and light-based superpowers on my battleship and let them take a look." This Lao Qin hesitated for a moment, and immediately attracted Shui Ziyu's attention. He frowned, looked at Lao Qin and said in a deep voice, "Say. Lao Tan, my master, the third princess, also invited the best light power users and pharmacists to treat the spies with the same disease. However, although the superficial wounds were healed, the root cause of the Scrappy was still there. Now, as long as you untie people, they will still scratch themselves into bloody gourds, so you still need a specific antidote." Mizusawayu interrupted him sharply with an ugly expression, "All right, old Tan, the third princess is just a faceless person who wants power but no power, no money, no money. How can she have any good pharmacists and light power users? How can you compare with my exclusive doctors? Go and invite them over." Lao Qin had no choice but to swallow his words and obeyed his orders. Yes. The two people lying on the bed moaning and itching almost lost their souls. They didn't listen carefully to their conversation. They only knew that the doctor was coming and immediately shouted, "Thank you, second young master. When we go back, we must tell the old man that second young master is what a good person." Shui Ziya glanced outside, coughed slightly, said a few words of comfort and then walked out. Little brother, just sell me 2 bottles of whitening pills and beauty elixirs. You pity my sister. My sister just wants to become more beautiful and find a handsome and good husband of the right match." Not far away, under the big red silk tree by the river, a young man and a noble girl were standing. The voice came from the noble girl. "I also know the noble girl Mizusawayu. She is Yanyan, the daughter of an earl who often spends time with Pui. She is quite rich and popular in the circle. The most important thing is that her family dotes on her and she will have a lot of dowry in the future." Originally, Mizusawayu also included her in his list of stepwives, and had someone contact her count. However, the count did not agree with his daughter as his stepwife, and he also investigated this noble woman. She was also coquettish, domineering and brainless, and she had neither eyes nor nose to him. She was really not suitable to be his wife, so he finally removed her from the list of stepwives. But now this domineering and arrogant lady is actually lowering her stature to beg for help, and she is begging for that wild boy from Mu. Shui Ziyu's face turned gloomy again. Under the big tree, Ye Yang's heart was as hard as iron, and he refused the girl in front of him with her hands folded and her big watery eyes trying to be cute to him. No, my second sister and little sister both have to use it. Yan was anxious. Oh, you kid, why don't you know how to adapt? Anyway, you are a citizen of Muyuan Star and live on Muyuan Star. There will be more opportunities to buy them in the future. Now you have sold them at a high price, sister. Wouldn't it be better for me to use the money I earn to buy more for your sisters later? This is called a win-win situation for us. Seeing that Ye Yang was still unmoved, she gritted her teeth, slapped her thigh and said, if that's not the case, my sister will add another number. When you become an adult, how about I introduce you to a noble girl with a high status, the kind who are good looking and have a dowry. I think my cousin is very good. She will be an adult in 2 years, which is just the right age for you. Then you two can fall in love for a few years before catching up. Get married before you have to pay the single tax. When the time comes, my sister will help you put in a good word and I will ensure that you can get the beautiful woman in your arms. Good guy. For 2 bottles of whitening pills and beauty elixirs, even my own cousin got involved. Ye Yang's eyes were opened. In order to become beautiful, a woman could be so crazy and sell her sister to be beautiful. Ye Yang expressed that he was scared, and said with a hard expression on his face, there is no need for your sister. I will go back to discuss the whitening pills and beauty pills with my sister at night, and I will give you an answer tomorrow. After saying that, he immediately ran away. Even Yan called for communication from behind and ignored her. He ran very fast with a pair of scuds and ran past Shui Ziyu with a whoosh. Then a large group of ladies hurried over, stopped Yan who was catching up, and asked, Yan, how is it? Did he agree? How many pills did you buy? Yan stopped and made a 2 sign to them with a proud smile. The ladies' eyes immediately shone and they shouted excitedly, 2 pills, 2 pills, did he promise to sell you 2 pills? Yan smiled and shook her head, no, it's 2 bottles. He said he would discuss it with his sister at night. I think there is a high chance that he will agree. 2 bottles are 20 pills. The noble ladies' hearts were beating wildly when they heard this. They ignored the possibility of not agreeing and quickly gathered around Yan to say good things. Yan, please teach me how to convince me he also sold us a few bottles, and that little brother holds the most pills among the people of Muyuan Star. After selling 2 bottles, he still has a lot in his hands. Yes, what do you think, Yan? Yan was not as hard-hearted as Puyi and Buletin Wen, and soon she was coaxed by the sisters' coquettish words and sweet words, and she vaguely revealed the secret of convincing her little brother to sell pills, introduce him to his wife. I became the richest man in the world by making meatballs. Author, Lanshan Luziy. Chapter 257. The ladies present expressed their understanding with excitement. Sure enough, men want to find a partner, even if they are underage teenagers. As a result, the noble ladies were very active. 1 or 2 of them were thinking about whether they had a sister of the same age. They also muttered, my cousin is not bad. Although she is only a viscount in the family, she is beautiful, the dowry is also large, no worse than Yan's cousin, that little brother just now should like it. I also have a biological sister in my family. Her facial features are quite beautiful, but the curvature of her outline is a bit crooked. If she wants to marry well in the future, people will definitely pick on her appearance. Otherwise, she might as well just marry this guy. This guy has beauty skills. Pills and whitening pills may even make my sister beautiful. My home is an earl's mansion, and my brother will not lose anything if he marries my sister. If I try to match up, the marriage will definitely be successful, and I can buy a lot of whitening pills and pills through him in the future. My beauty pills are great, and my mother will definitely support me. The man named Ye Yang is so popular. If I change someone else, the one who stays with Ye Yang all day long should be called Leng Xiao. He is cool and handsome, and has good cooking skills. My sister will not be in trouble if she marries him. How about I try it too? He sells me pills and I introduce my sister to him. Mizusawayu's abilities were not low, and he could clearly hear the whispers and calculations of these noble ladies, which made him almost vomit blood. There is something wrong with these women's brains. They are just beauty elixirs and whitening pills. They are using marriage alliances. Some of them are still on the list of his original stepwives, which makes Mizusawayu feel even more unhappy. At the same time, a strange sense of crisis arose in his heart. To him, beauty elixirs and whitening pills that were useless could actually induce so many noble ladies to become so stupid that they even took the initiative to plan a marriage. It was hard to believe that could it be that this is also part of the plan of the Muyuan Star Master? Could she be playing a big game of chess? If he remembered correctly, according to the investigation, the two young men named Ye Yang and Leng Xiao were her adopted brothers not long ago. With the addition of this identity, Mizusawayu felt more and more that his guess was correct. This woman, the owner of Muyuan Star, must be planning a marriage to consolidate Muyuan Star. Ye Yang, who was killed in Fengping. Bai Qianchun, who just wants to get rich. Bai Qianchun, whose image of herself in Mizusawayu's heart has become that of a scheming woman, is still gathered around the cauldron while refining pills conscientiously. She is already numb after repeating 3 pills. She wants to think too much. Here are some helpers. When CAO arrived, a message from Jianzhan was sent, saying that he had set off from the shaking light star and would go to the neighboring star next door to buy the needed parts before coming to the Jupiter star. Now he has designed the meatball making robot and has an idea about the program settings. When he waits for Mu Yuan seeing, he will be able to take out a small model sample for trial use. After the trial is successful, he can quickly start making a standard humanoid robot and set up a meatball making assembly line. The message was sent in advance to prepare Bai Qianchun and discuss what kind of pills the ball-making robot would make for its first experiment. Bai Qianchun was immediately elated after seeing the news, and a smile broke out on her numb face. She quickly stopped what she was doing and called Jianzhan back. She made the first batch of whitening pills. There were few simple steps, the ingredients were not expensive, and she didn't feel bad if she made a mistake or wasted it. The most important thing is that its sales volume is now high and demand exceeds supply. Then he sent the process of making the whitening pills to Jianzhan, asking him to think about it carefully and strive for first-time success. Jianzhan gave her an okay gesture. The corners of Bai Qianchun's mouth were raised, her dark eyes were shining with stars, and her joy was obvious. Fen Yuyu, who was almost numb from the fire, happened to see her sudden change of face. Look at this beautiful and soft little face. Just now, it looked like a wilted little flower that was about to wither. Now the communication messages are coming one after another. Immediately seemed to be nourished by the rain and dew, and the rose bloomed with vitality again, becoming radiant. Why did it look like something was wrong? Who is the person opposite? Fen Yuya came over calmly and glanced sideways at her optical brain interface. Unfortunately, she had set it so that it could only be seen by herself. He could see nothing but a ball of blue light, and he suddenly felt so sad. What are you looking at? Bai Qianchun pressed down the light brain and glanced sideways at the man beside her. Fen Yuya quickly looked away, straightened up, and coughed slightly. Just take a look. After finishing speaking, seeing Bai Qianchun's dark and dull eyes still looking at him, his handsome face was slightly shy and his eyes stared back. I'm curious to see who you are sending messages to, and I smiled with duo. Like morning glory. Bai Qianchun gave him a blank look, they are my future star citizens. After she finished speaking, she turned back and said, I'm going to continue making whitening pills. Do you want to try them? Fen Yu immediately threw away the words future star citizen that were touching his heart, and his peach blossom eyes shone brightly on his enchanting face. You really want me to try? What if I'm so smart and learn it? Although he was doing the work of burning fire and washing medicinal materials these days, he deliberately did not watch the important step. It was related to the secret of her making pills. Even if they were a legally certified couple, they had to avoid suspicion. Unexpectedly, he actually let himself get started. His heart, which was still a little sore just now, felt as if it had jumped into warm water and immediately became warm. Bai Qian-chun, once you learn it, you will learn it. What else can you do? Will you sell my formula or make it yourself in private? Fen Yu immediately shook his head, of course not. Whether it is because his personal moral character does not allow it, or because his Feng group does not need the 3 melons and 2 dates of this whitening pill, it is not advisable for him or Feng to rashly step into another unfamiliar field, so it is impossible to profit privately from this formula. Bai Qian-chun, that's it? Come here quickly and I'll teach you how to handle the medicinal materials. Fen Yu nodded happily, here he comes. Cao Jiajia's expression was subtle. Why did she feel that Senior Feng was like a big dog being bossed around by his master? The handsome, noble, evil, and arrogant persona is shattered. Bai Qian-chun, another strong worker gets it. She was sure that Fen Yu, a man, was more interested in the pharmaceutical process than the formula. The formula would never be leaked from him. It was best to turn him into a labor force. Otherwise, he would just burn the fire and wash the medicinal materials for the rest of the time. Sitting on a recliner when she is free and watching her work makes her uncomfortable. Fen Yu, who didn't know the truth, was touched by the fact that this woman trusted him so much. Although he subconsciously realized something was wrong, he didn't want to think about it deeply. Holding the medicinal materials in hand, he asked, is this the right way to handle it? No, why are you so stupid? I'll teach you again. Oh, then please slow down. It's best to teach me step by step. I may not be that talented in medicine. I became the richest man in the world by making meatballs. Author, Lanshan Luzi. Chapter 258. The pills produced by Muyuan Star Master are still in hot sales. In the next 2 days, Muyuan Star will stage a spectacle unknown to outsiders. The ladies and gentlemen came together in real form. They took reference from Bulletin Wen's dress and wore sneakers with long laces. They tightly wrapped the shoes and ankles together for fear of being stepped on by their competitors. The heel crushed the shoe. Look at the clothes and trousers they are wearing. They are all made of the toughest fabric in the universe that will not tear apart no matter how hard they are pulled. The belts are even wrapped with chains and locked tightly, which cannot be unlocked without a key. In addition, there is a transparent helmet that looks like a goldfish bowl fastened on the forehead. It is made of bulletproof material and cannot be scratched by fingers no matter how long the nails are. It is obvious that a lesson has been learned and Bulletin Wen's habit of scratching people's faces has been completely eliminated. Harassment stunts. Fully armed, they were full of enthusiasm, showing off their skills and shouting. The scene was once chaotic and they went to the wooden cane shelf to book a place. This kind of scene goes on 3 meals a day, every meal. The new tourists were dumbfounded and confused. They had no idea what was going on at this crazy shopping scene, especially those who recognized acquaintances. They were even more confused. How come we haven't seen each other for a few days, and XXX has already changed into such a sharp look? What's going on with a goldfish bowl on your head? Exploring alien planets? This scene is like a zombie siege, which is also very scary. But after they found out what they were buying, and after using the medicine with amazing effects, the new tourists were no longer confused and joined the big family one after another, becoming one of the many snappers with goldfish tanks on their heads. A member of. After the rush to buy was over and the lucky winner was decided, they all started chasing the people of Muyuan Star in a cycle of begging for sales by acting coquettishly and cutely to please and sell. They even came to Muyuan Star for its original purpose, to visit Muyuan Star and enjoy it. The purpose of picking life has been forgotten. This means that the fruits and vegetables on Muyuan planet have lost a lot of business, which is obviously contrary to Baikin Chun's original idea of opening Muyuan planet to welcome tourists to pick and serve as free labor. But it doesn't matter, as long as there are star coins to earn, no matter whether it is fruits or pills, they are both excellent and good products, not to mention pills are more profitable. As for the fruits and vegetables that are still growing in the fields, Fenyuyu's team is helping to pick them, and the large-scale picking robots that Bai Qianchun customized from the Song Group at the Yao Guangxing Free Trade Market have also been delivered and can start. Got to work. With this batch of robots, the pressure on the stars on the Jupiter planet was suddenly reduced, and they no longer had to worry about the fruits rotting in the ground every day. The work of the star citizens has also been transferred to back office, directing the robots to dry the millet, count the fruits and vegetables into the warehouse, act as customer service to sell fruits and vegetables on the star network, and package the fruits and vegetables orders for sale. Under the command of Yechin, the increasingly high-spirited and highly motivated general manager, everything on Muyuan planet is operating in an orderly manner, and the new power is gradually strengthening, heading towards a prosperous future. Just 2 days later, Jianzhan, a future star citizen for whom Bai Qianchun had high hopes, finally arrived. In order to express his importance to this technical talent, Bai Qianchun took time out of his busy schedule to pick him up in person at the starry skyport. Fenyuyu looked at Bai Qianchun, who had a smile on his face after answering the call. His handsome face was dark, and he said to her with a smile on his face, "I'm also going to see the future star who is so valued by you. Come on, people, let's see what he looks like with 3 heads and 6 arms. He can make you happy every time you receive news." Bai Qianchun bent down and washed her hands for a moment, then glanced at him lightly with her dark eyes. "No, you can't go." Fenyuyu froze as he stepped out, his handsome eyes widened in disbelief. Why can't I go?" Bai Qianchun shook the water droplets on her hands, wiped them with a clean handkerchief, and then looked at him suspiciously, "Because the whitening pills in this pot are almost ready, and one must be left for cooking. Take the next steps, you have to stay if I leave." Fenyuyu, that makes so much sense. He can't refute it at all. Fenyuyu's face turned gloomy, and he regretted that he had learned how to roll balls. He just said that he should not work too hard as a person. In order to make up for his lack of talent, he had worked hard to learn how to roll balls in the past 2 days. He finally succeeded not long ago. "Oh, I didn't expect this woman to be waiting for him here." Finally, under Cao Jiajia's sympathetic eyes, Fenyuyu had no choice but to retract her big feet, squatted in the small yard angrily, and then watched Bai Qianchun leisurely walk out with resentful eyes. What's going on? Why does he feel like he's being eaten to death by this woman? This shouldn't be the case. Fenyuyu scratched his head and thought for a long time. He felt that he still couldn't obey the orders so obediently and squat in this small yard. They were husband and wife in the eyes of those people. Now his wife had gone to pick up other wild men. What if? If people who like gossip see it, they can't guess that they are not in harmony with each other. His husband's status is not guaranteed because of his poor relationship. No, he spent 200 million to play the role of a loving couple. Rumors of discord must not spread. So Fenyuyu convinced himself and straightened up. He was tall and long-legged, wearing black casual clothes and standing in the small courtyard. He reached out and patted the debris stuck on his clothes. A pair of deep peach blossom eyes swept towards him with sharp light. "Cao Jiajia, the melon-eating girl on the side? Caogia immediately restrained her expression and shrank her neck. Uh-huh, 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 Senior Feng's true nature has been revealed when the boss isn't around. That look in his eyes is so damn scary. Come here, Feng Yuya shouted in a calm voice. Caogia immediately jumped up, feeling bitter in her heart, but she still had to keep a strong smile on her face and walked over, respectfully saying, "Do you have any instructions, Senior Feng?" Feng Yuya looked at her squarely. "I'll leave the pot to you. What do you want, star coins, precious ores or herbs?" He paused and retorted, "No, the herbs won't work, I have to keep them. As a gift to my wife, you can choose either star coins or ores." Caogia's eyelids twitched. She didn't know whether to say that this bowl of dog food was very filling or to remind him that being arrogant didn't work. Instead of being humble when asking people to do things, at least he had to use a kinder tone, right? What's going on with this imperative tone? But she also knew that this was the normal way the legendary Senior Feng treated ordinary women. Before, he was hard-working, lazy, and easy to talk to, all because of the presence of the boss. He's still an awesome boss. He can tame a vicious beast with a vicious tongue into a loyal dog that works hard and doesn't complain. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I became the richest man in the world by making meatballs. Author, Lanshan Luzi. Chapter 259. Huh? None. No, 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 I choose star coins. You give me star coins. I only need 5,000, no, 1,000 star coins is enough. Caogia replied quickly, and gestured with her finger. The previous steps have been completed, and all that is left is to collect the juice and roll the meatballs. Wouldn't it be too greedy for the lion to open his mouth? As a friend of the boss, she must not embarrass him. Feng Yuya glanced at her in surprise. He didn't expect her to be so honest with her fees. How did she get together with Bai Jianchun, a woman who wanted money so much? After receiving the transfer, Caogia, who didn't know that she was being questioned because of the low charge, patted her chest happily and promised that she would definitely make the balls round and chubby, and she would definitely not be lazy. Feng Yuya didn't take her guarantee too seriously. He only knew that someone had taken over and he could go out openly and give an explanation to that woman Bai Jianchun, so he was satisfied. He walked to the entrance of the courtyard, took out a flying car, and then he turned over and sat on it in a strong and handsome manner. The flying car took off and flew towards the starry skyport in a whoosh. This is really impatient. A man with a sense of crisis will act quickly. Thinking about Jian Zhan's image of a skinny, skeletal handsome man, Caogia felt that Senior Feng didn't need to be so nervous when he grew up. His monstrous and beautiful face completely defeated Jian Zhan, and anyone who didn't have lame eyes would choose him. The speed of the car was set to the fastest speed, and when it arrived at the starry skyport at a lightning speed, it was one step ahead of Bai Jianchun. Feng Yuya frowned and walked around the starry skyport, but he didn't see Bai Jianchun's familiar figure. He touched his nose with his slender fingers, his expression a little embarrassed. There was no way, he couldn't fly back to look for it, so he had to get off the plane and stand at the starport and wait. Not far away, Qin Yushan, who was chatting with Shen Sixiang with several noble ladies, her eyes suddenly lit up. Qin Yushan's face has healed now. She has taken the big healing pills, whitening pills, and beauty pills sent by Bai Chenjun. Even because of the beauty pills, her disfigured face has become more refined and beautiful. And after Bai Chenjun delivered the pills, news spread that he spent a lot of money on the Xingmen and spent 20 times the sky-high price that the Xingmen could not refuse to buy the pills just to please the third princess. Qin Yushan, who had been disgraced a few days ago, became famous again. But she was prosperous, but Shen Xiang felt uncomfortable. As the news spread among the noble girls a few days ago that the Shen family was going to marry Bai Chenjun, and the Shen family confirmed the news the night before yesterday, the Shen family had already discussed the marriage with the head of the Bai family. Which means that Shen Chengxiang's future husband will be Bai Chenjun. Unless there is a special accident, this engagement cannot be changed. In other words, after their engagement was agreed, her fiancé bought pills for the third princess at an exorbitant price. How could Shen Shensiyang not feel resentful about this? Her face was also injured and has not healed yet. She has only taken the great healing pill but not the beauty pill or whitening pills. Although the wounds on her face have healed, there are still new and old flesh crisscrossing them. She also needs whitening pills and whitening pills. Beauty elixir. But her fiancé completely forgot about her. He gave all the 2 bottles of beauty pills and whitening pills to Qin Yushan. He didn't even leave one for her, and he didn't even say a word to her, so that others could see all her jokes. This is called thinking about the fragrance. How embarrassing it is. Especially when Qin Yushan brought people over to show off to her and see her laugh, the resentment in Shen Xiang's eyes reached its peak, and the anger in her heart immediately rushed to her forehead, and she opened her mouth to stop Qin Yushan, who was about to go to Fen Yuyu. Third princess, you are taking the pills that my fiancé bought at a high price, but you are thinking about another man, and you are eager to get close to him. This is not good. Even if you are the third princess, you cannot be so carefree and ruthless. Accepting the benefits from your backup admirer, but also worrying about a married man. If this gets out, it will damage your image as the third princess. The smile on Qin Yushan's face froze, and she looked at Shen Shensiyang, who suddenly got angry with an ugly face. She didn't expect that the dog that had been her for 4 or 5 years would bite people. She subconsciously glanced at Fen Yuyu's reassurance, and seeing the unconcealed look of contempt in his peach blossom eyes that fascinated her, Qin Yushan's face immediately darkened, and she turned to look at Muse, who was looking at her provocatively. Xiang, suppressing his anger and explaining with a smile. Xiang, what's wrong with you? We are obviously best friends, aren't we? A few days ago, you used the great healing pill to heal your face, but you hid it and refused to tell me, leaving me suffering from the pain of facial disfigurement. Your fiancé Master Bai gave me the great healing pill, beauty pill, and whitening pill to apologize on your behalf. I regard you as a good sister, so naturally I have to accept this apology to protect our friendship. I'm sorry. I didn't explain it clearly to you before, so you misunderstood me. Now that I've explained it clearly, can we still be good friends? Shen Xiang, who had been with her for many years and was already very familiar with her, was also shocked by her explanation of pretending to be a deer. Qin Yushan was indeed a woman who knew how to pretend, and this explanation really made sense to her. You are confusing right and wrong. Shen Xiang was so angry at her expression. You and I know very well what Bai Chenjun is thinking. I heard with my own ears that you asked him to buy it. This is not an apology. If that man could really do this for me, why didn't he leave 2 pills for me as my fiancé? Ha, after all, the third princess is more charming. She keeps saying that we are good sisters but secretly meets my fiancé to hook up. He does one thing on the surface but another behind the scenes, and he can't blame the royal princess on Starnet for being replaced by the eldest princess, because you don't deserve it at all. You Qin Yushan's chest heaved angrily and her eyes glared at her fiercely. Otherwise, they have been good plastic sisters for so many years, and they know what each other cares about. Qin Yushan's biological mother was just a maid, with no power behind her. All she relied on was the favor of His Majesty the Emperor and the reputation of the royal princess in the eyes of the people of the empire. Now that this reputation is gone, it is definitely a major blow to Qin Yushan. Now being singled out by Shen Xiang in public, how could she not be angry? Her eyes were about to burst with anger. But now Shen Xiang is not afraid of her. Before, because the Shen family wanted to marry Qin Yushan, She followed the Shen family's orders and followed Qin Yushin to please her. But now, Qin Yushin's reputation has disappeared, and there are rumors that she likes her. Fen Yuyu was a married man and was crazy and obsessed with her. Could the Shen family still want such a worthless daughter-in-law? Of course they gave up decisively. Shen Xixiang also received instructions from the Shen family not to hold the third princess in such a respectful position, so she dared to shout so boldly to Qin Yushin today and directly removed her fig leaf. I became the richest man in the world by making meatballs. Author, Lan Shan Lu Zy. Chapter 260. What's going on here? When Bai Qianchun came over with Fen Tanggui and Shen Nan who met on the road, she saw the angry Qin Yushin with a livid face outside the starry skyport, and Shen Xiang standing in front of her with a dark smile on her lips, and felt a little suspicious in her heart. Fen Tanggui's eyes sparkled. What else can be done? I can tell at a glance that they are dog eat dog. They probably fell out because of something. I said these superficial plastic sisters, will turn against each other sooner or later. Shen Nangxiao was not as gloating as Fen Tanggui acted. After all, she had played with Qin Yushin and Shen Xiang before. Now that she had come to Mu Yuan Star, whether it was Shen Xiang whom she had regarded as a good sister before, or she had thought she was the filters in her heart about the pure, noble, and elegant third princess were shattered to pieces. It turned out that what she thought before was just the illusion shown by these two people. She pursed her lips, and her originally pleasant and clear voice became much darker. They probably do it for Bai Qianchun. When Fen Tanggui heard the name, he immediately realized, oh, yes, recently she has been involved with Shen Xixiang and Qin Yushin, and the only one who can make them fall out and start a fight is Bai Qianchun, the generous weakling. There is only such a big place on Wu Yuan planet. Even if they don't inquire about it themselves, they can still hear some rumors. What's more, the eating place where they gather in the village square for 3 meals a day is the best place for gossip and rumors, unless it is my ears are deaf, otherwise no one would have heard the news. What's more, Bai Qianchun is not low-key at all. He even loudly promoted to his friends that he was favored by the third princess. In his words, he did not take Shen Xiang, the family's fiancée, into consideration at all. It's hard not to even think about it. Even Bai Qianchun, who had been walking between Star-Lord Mansion and Mizu Xiaoyuan in the past 2 days, heard someone talking about this matter with his own ears. So she suddenly understood when she heard Shen Nan laugh out loud. It seems that Shen Xiang, Bai Qianchun, and Qin Yushin were not clear about the 3 people in the dream. There was no specific situation in the dream. I only knew that they met interstellar pirates during an interstellar journey. As his fiancée, Shen Xiang died, and Bai Qianchun and Qin Yushin were rescued after Fen Yuyu led the army to kill the Star Thief group. According to rumors, Bai Qianchun pushed Shen Xiang out to block the knife in order to save Qin Yushin, and Shen Xiang was killed by cannon fodder. Later, Qin Yushin married Bai Qianchun not long after the two were rescued. Thinking of this, Bai Qianchun couldn't help but show some sympathy when looking at Shen Xiang, but it was just sympathy. Fen Yuyu walked along the green lawn with long legs and walked until she was in front of Bai Qianchun. Then she raised her eyebrows and looked at her condescendingly. The corner of her mouth curled slightly. Didn't I say that I was going to pick up your future star citizen? Why are you so stupid, stunned here? Bai Qianchun looked back at him, her delicate eyebrows slightly frowned. Why are you here? I told you to look at the pot. Fen Yuyu smiled brightly and said in a complacent tone, I hired someone to do it for me. Don't worry, your pot of medicine won't be ruined. It's you. Why did you bring these 2 oil bottles with you? As he spoke, he glanced at Shen Nangxiao and Fen Tanggui, feeling unhappy. Shen Nan smiled and shrank her neck, not daring to speak. Fen Tanggui glared at him angrily. What do you mean by a dragster? Is there a dragster like us who can take care of ourselves with a pretty face like ours? My cousin, This mouth is getting more and more poisonous. Fen Yu snorted softly. I didn't see the beautiful face, but I saw a sticky man with makeup and makeup. Don't think he doesn't know. These two little girls are jumping up and down to stick to Bai Jianchun, trying to sneak into Mi Zhu's courtyard to steal his firework. If they didn't know anything about medicinal materials, they would even admit the wrong medicinal herbs. I'm not sure this woman Bai Jianchun really asked them to shamelessly squeeze in. Fen Tanggui was unconvinced. Where did I put on makeup? Since taking the whitening pills, I don't even use makeup cream. Now I have no makeup. I only wear lipstick at most. Shen Nangxiao also nodded seriously in agreement. Since taking the whitening pills, her skin, which is not very white, no longer needs to be smeared with brightening cosmetics on her face. Now she has a pure natural makeup, which is better than applying brightening cream. The effect is good, so why use a brightening cream? So she became more courageous, and sang with Fen Tanggui to explain her pure makeup. She became more interested, and she also popularized the makeup science she had used before, and compared the beauty pills with the whitening pills. Girls are absolutely very interested in beauty and cosmetics, and their little mouths can't stop talking. Fen Yu, a straight man who has no knowledge of cosmetics, I feel dizzy and don't want to know about these things. Although she doesn't wear makeup all year round, Bai Jianchun, who has put on makeup before for work needs and her skills are not bad, listens to it with interest. She didn't know much about cosmetics in this world, so she could just listen to them and write down a few useful brands so that she wouldn't be blinded when she needs to buy them later. Fen Yu looked at her with a somewhat subtle look. He had thought it was a bit subtle that Bai Jianchun, a woman who had always been barefaced and only interested in making money, was also interested in cosmetics. In the end, Fen Tanggui used woman's magic to defeat her venomous cousin and won the final victory, walking with great pride. By the way, sister-in-law, my cousin said you would come to pick up the future star citizens. Who is that person? He actually asked sister-in-law to pick him up in person. Does he have any great abilities? Bai Jianchun ignored Qin Yushan, who looked at her fiercely, and continued walking forward. Does knowing how to be a robot count? Can you make a robot? Fen Tanggui was surprised and confused. Is this great? My cousin can do it too. My cousin also has the Empire's #1 mecha manufacturing master, Master Xin. Maybe we can even make a super mecha, which is much more powerful than a robot. Fen Yu glanced at her with satisfaction. This cousin was quite discerning and knew how to show off his strengths. Bai Jianchun looked over in surprise. Can you really make a robot? Fen Yu straightened his sleeves slowly, his fair and perfect chin a little more reserved. The Feng Group also has a branch that specializes in robots. As the boss, I have done some research. I have done a few in the military academy before. A concurrent major in robot production. No, it's just a hobby, but the teacher of the mecha manufacturing major said that what I did was comparable to the final design of the best students in their department. Bai Jianchun, are all male military college students today so versatile? She remembers that Jian Zhan also made robots as a hobby.